It was a pleasure to have you. And so I'm just going to mention that all the opportunities that Caroline mentioned, you can also apply for these ones and the ones that I'm going to also be talking about. So you can have one of the funding opportunities that I will talk, and the Quebec Mobility Bursary, and the MyTax, and. So as she say, apply to everything
Yes,
that you can.
apply. Yes. Good point.
So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Cecilia Kramer. I'm the Fellowship Advisor of the School of Graduate Studies. Sorry, I got. So I'm the Fellowship Advisor of the School of Graduate Studies. Here today, I'm just going to talk about the external funding opportunities for grad students in a research program. My position at Concordia is basically helping you to apply for all these fellowships. Okay, so if you have a question about if you're eligible or where to submit the application, you can contact Catherine. She couldn't come here, but I will send you her email account once we send the presentation to you guys. But if you already decided, okay, I'm going to be applying for this application, or even if you need help with the Quebec Mobility Bursary or applying to MyTax, I can help you to create the application, to see what's the research proposal and all that. So let's start understanding the Canadian funding landscape. Before, here at Concordia, we have two major types of awards. The ones that we call internal awards and the external. Internal awards are all of the ones that are pre-allocated with your admission, right? So you're applying, and then Concordia gives you an offer, and in that offer, they will take into account, I don't know, many different internal awards. I cannot speak of them because each department is different. Each department may have different opportunities. So Concordia is huge. I'm not going to touch on those. What I will be talking today is external awards, what we call tri-agencies, FRQ, and other external programs. These are the ones that I'm going to mention. Again, these are for research-based programs, except one or two opportunities, but most of them are research-based programs. The two major agencies that we have here in Quebec are the federal one that is going to fund the whole Canada, that we call it the tri-agencies. So the tri-agencies, because it has three agencies, they're not very creative with the name. So basically the three agencies are social sciences and humanities. So these that we call SHERC is going to be funding research proposals in social sciences and humanities and arts. Then we have NSERC, that is natural sciences and engineering. And then the last one is CIHR, that is going to be funding research in health. Okay, that's for Canada and the whole Canadian funding. Here in Quebec, we have the provincial counterpart, that is the Fonds de Recherche du Québec, FRQ. And they also have these three same agencies, Société et Culture, that we call FRQSC, Nature et Technologie, FRQNT, and Santé, FRQS. And why am I mentioning all that? Because even if you're eligible, you can apply to both the FRQ and the tri-agencies. You have to choose which agency. So if you're applying to social sciences and humanities, you will be applying through SHERC, but you cannot also apply to NSERC and CIHR. Okay, so it's very important to decide which agency you are going to be submitting your application, because this is the people that are going to be reviewing the application. Okay. So let's start with tri-agencies. Tri-agencies awards, they provide graduate scholarships at a master level. The value is $27,000 per year for 1 year, and it's not renewable. And the application deadline is December 1st. One thing to mention about all the scholarships that I'm going to be talking about is that this is money for you, not for your research, not for your lab or your study group. This is money that you can use to wherever you want. You can pay tuition with this, you can pay the rent, you can buy groceries, and this is not taxable. So when I'm saying 27,000 per year, is in 1 year, you're gonna have the 27,000 for you to use. As I say, the application deadline is going to be in December 1st, and there are some eligibility criteria that you need to understand. First of all, this is for Canadian citizens, permanent residents of Canada, or protected persons. This is the only one that is not for international students. As an international student, you have other options, but not this one. You have to be enrolled or intend to apply to a full-time admission at a Canadian university. We're going to see what this means. And you can only apply in the first 12 months, okay? As of December 31st, you have to be completed no more than 12 months. They will pay attention to your transcripts and basically in the last 2 years of studies. So the last 2 years of study, you will be required to have a GPA of around A-, that in Concordia is 3.7 out of 4.3. If you're international, you're coming from a different university, whatever is your equivalent to the A-. But this is something that you have to consider, and it means in the last 2 years. So if you finish your bachelor and then you did a graduate diploma, that graduate diploma GPA also counts because it's only the last 2 years. I know this is confusing. Come talk to me if you are still wondering what's your GPA. An important thing that to mention about this one is that it's not portable. It must be held at Concordia University if Concordia is giving you this award. What does it mean? There is a pre-selection process at Concordia. When you're submitting your application through the research portal, in the application process, you will be asked to indicate your top 3 preferred institutions, the universities where you're intending to do your master's. Of course, if you're already in the program, you will put your university and that's it. But if you haven't chosen the university that you want to go, you can say, okay, I'm going to think about Concordia, McGill, or U of T. When the results are out, maybe one of these universities are going to give you the award. Maybe you decided to come to Concordia, but U of T is the one that is giving you the award. You cannot take the award from Toronto and use it in Concordia, okay? So if U of T is giving you the award, you have to use it in that university. Same, if Concordia is offering you the award, you cannot say, yes, I will accept the award, but I will do my program in McGill. You cannot do that. Why I'm saying this? Because this means that you can apply before applying to the program, okay? Before making the decision of, okay, I'm going to be going to this university or this one, you can already start applying for the CGSM. And another important thing about this award is that direct entry PhD students, direct entry PhD student means that if you did your bachelor and you did nothing else and you start right away with your PhD, you didn't do any masters, you didn't do any graduate diploma, bachelor's and then PhD, that's what is called direct entry PhD students, then these opportunities, the master's tri-agency and also the FRQ that I'm going to talk in a second, they allow you to apply for these scholarships for the first year instead of applying for PhD funding. And why is this? Because these agencies, they do understand that you just finished your bachelor, you may not have the same experience as someone that did a master's, so they don't want you to compete with someone at that level. They want you to still compete at someone that is the same level, that is starting a master, okay? If you're still wondering or have confusion about this, please let me know. So I'm just going to put here the selection criteria for this award. They're going to be paying a lot of attention in your academic excellence. As I say, 50% of the way is going to go transcripts, awards, distinctions, academic results. All that is going to be weighting 50%. Then you will have to write a research proposal, and this is going to add to the research potential, that is 30%. And then you will have to provide 2 reference letters where they can talk about your personal characteristics and interpersonal skills, because that also counts in this application. We do have Concordia's quotas. This is from last year. So this is the maximum amount of awards that we can offer. For SSHRC, social sciences is 42, for natural sciences is 14, and for health, we only have 4 awards. This doesn't matter to you. This only shows you how competitive this application can get. I'm going to move to the doctoral program, and then we can do a question section about the tri-agencies. So the doctoral program is 40,000 per year for up to 3 years, for a total of 120,000. Again, this money is for you. The eligibility in this case, it is open to Canadian citizens, permanent residents, protected persons, and international students. But there I put a mark. Only up to 15% of the awards will be going to international students. I will explain what this means in a second. For this one, you must have completed no more than 36 months by December 31st of the calendar year. So again, you can apply before starting the program if you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, or in the first 3 years, okay? For international students, you have to be enrolled in the program. So you cannot apply for this one before starting the program. For international students, you have to be enrolled in the doctoral program that you are going to be asking funding for. What does it mean that a maximum of 50% of the awards will be allotted to international applicants? This means that for you guys, the competition will be extremely high because there are going to be limited spots for the awards that you can get. So if you're an international student thinking that, okay, I'm going to be applying for the doctoral program, you're in your first year, you may not have any publications or any conference, and your GPA is not that great, then I would suggest you to work on your CV this year and apply next year, okay? So what is the things that we say that we should be looking for, what it means to be a strong candidate? A students, a high GPA, solid record of publications or even co-authors, active conference participations, research presentations or exhibitions or creative outputs that you have, strong letters of recommendation, and a very, very clear and original research proposal, okay? This should apply to everyone, but international, since we have this quota of 15%, it will also apply for you mostly. So if you're unsure if you meet these criteria, you can book a meeting with me and we can assess your file. There is a pre-selection process in Concordia that I think Otaiba mentioned, and I'm gonna explain a bit how it works, but I'm just going to explain something here. When you're applying for these opportunities, they will ask you what's your case, what's your status. If you're already currently registered in a degree program at Concordia, or you are already registered in Concordia, then you have to choose the first option, right? You are currently registered in a degree program at a Canadian institution with a doctoral award quota. And then they will tell you where to submit the application to the Canadian institution at which the applicant is currently registered. It doesn't mean that you have to send anything to us. This only means there is an internal Concordia deadline. You still have to submit the application through the agency's platforms. And once you have that, it will open a new field and you will have to put the university that you are in, okay? The pre-selection process at Concordia, well, sorry, I'm just gonna give you first the Concordia internal deadlines. So SHERC doctoral programs for social sciences and humanities, the internal deadline is September 22nd. For natural sciences and CIHR doctorals is September 29, okay? Now I'm gonna explain a bit why we have this pre-selection process at Concordia and a bit how it works. Same thing for doctorals, we have quotas. So the agency only allows us to send to the national competition a certain amount of applications. So for example, for SHERC, social sciences, we have 64 quotas this year. What does it mean? We receive a lot, I don't know, we receive 150 applications, okay? We have to choose 64 because we cannot submit all of them. The agencies are not allowing to submit everything. So at Concordia, we have an internal committee that is made by different professors from different departments. We try to be as equity and diverse as possible. So that committee is going to be reviewing the applications that we receive. Okay, so by September 22nd, we receive all the applications through the portal, we download them, we start the internal process. The reviewers are going to be reviewing the application, they are going to be ranking, and then we sit all together and we discuss. And the discussion may have 3-4 hours. It's very long because we really need to rank your applications and choose the best 64. Those 64s are the ones that are going to be sending to the national competition. And then there's another process. There is another review committee that is going to assess the applications and decide if the agency is going to fund you or not. Okay, so that's at the School of Graduate program level. An important notice for you guys, because many of you have been asking me about the Vanier Canada Graduate Scholarship for doctorals. This program does not exist anymore, okay? So if you are a PhD student, you will have to apply for the regular Canada Graduate Research Scholarship doctorals. Any questions so far? I think I have something in the chat, no?
Yeah, Marissa's asking if the internal process also applies for masters and tri-agency.
So the internal process for masters, it is at the faculty level. So what happens for the masters, like we have these quotas. The quotas work a bit different. So as I mentioned, for SSHRC, let's say we have 42. We have 42 awards. It's not the same with the doctorals. Doctorals, we do not have 64 awards. We just have to send them. For the masters, the process is different. We do have 42 awards. What the School of Graduate Study does is like we share the quotas, with all the faculties, and let's say, okay, to this faculty, we can allocate 10 quotas. Then the faculty does their internal process. Okay, so maybe that's why Kotaiba was mentioned. I do not have information about how that internal process works. Or maybe each department has also an internal process. So let's say the Faculty of Fine Arts, they have 10 quotas for SSHRC, and they decided, okay, we'll receive the quota. They send it to us, we accept it or not, and then you will have the quota. Cases that we will not accept it is like when it's clear that the student have a very low GPA, or there's something very, very clear that the student is not eligible. So that's the only way that we would say no to the faculty, but it's the faculty's decision. One thing to know about all this is like for masters then, and I'm just saying this, probably I will edit this part in the video, but for the master's level, you are writing for your faculty, okay? For the doctoral level, you are writing your application for the internal committee at Concordia, which is professors from all the different departments, and for the external process, which are professors from all different universities. I hope it was clear.
I think I have a more specific question, actually, now that you've given me this information.
Go for it.
Is there an internal step that I need to do? I met with one of my supervisors and they said, please go and do these workshops to find out what the step is to be improved at the faculty level.
For the CGS master?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's the same process?
It's the same process. Like you do have to create the best application possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if your supervisor thinks you're amazing, and if you're presenting a very bad research proposal, then the faculty they still have to rank you. They still have to make sure that you are giving a good application. But there's no any extra steps that you have to do at the faculty level.
Okay.
Was clear?
I'll probably meet with you again because I received an approval from the tri-agency, but I was not given I was not given the award internally. So I have.
This is not an internal. This is not internal. It's okay. We can talk about this, but there's no internal and external process.
Okay. So why did I say that I was, they tri-agency told me that I was successful, but I didn't receive the award from Concordia.
Okay, talk to me because that's very weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I think.
Yes. So yeah, send me an email explaining the situation.
Okay, thank you, Cecilia.
You're welcome. Any other question? We can move to the FRQ now. Okay, so the FRQ is the Fonds de Recherche du Québec. This is the Quebec counterpart. So they are also funding master's and PhD students. They also have postdocs. Sorry, Tri-Agency also has postdocs, but it's not my my field of expertise. But if you're a postdoc in the audience, you can also work with me and we can give you like a one-on-one meeting. So FRQ Awards for the master's is open to Quebec residents, students admitted to a graduate program, or students supported by a supervisor. We will see in a second what that means. It's for all the programs, natural sciences, health and social sciences, humanities and arts. You can apply before starting your program and within no more than 3 full-time years as of May 1st of the following year. This is a lot. We're going to see what this means. As the CGSM will take the last 2 years of your undergrad studies, FRQ will take your whole undergrad studies GPA. Okay, so it's not like the last 2 years or the last semesters, no. And each agency, they have the specific cutout. FRQNT, they will ask you, I think it's a B+, 3.55 out of 4.3, or the equivalent. For FRQSC, it's a A-, 3.7 out of 4.3. And for FRQS, it's a B, 3.3 out of 4.3. FRQ is a very, very strict. So let's say you're applying to social sciences and the FRQSC and your GPA is 3.3, you're not going to pass. Like, I think the first criteria that they will be paying attention is your GPA. And as soon as they see someone that is not in this eligibility criteria, they will just remove the application. So be careful with that. The value of this one is $20,000 per year, but it's for 2 years. And the application deadline is October 1st. The application is already open, so you can start working on this application. Tri-Agency's doctoral is also already open, so you can start already working on this. For the doctorals, again, it's open to Quebec residents, students admitted to a program, or students supported by a supervisor, all the programs. And you can apply before starting your program and within no more than 14 full-time terms as of May 1st. We're going to see what this means. This is $25,000 per year for up to 4 years, okay? And the application deadline is also October 1st, 2025. So what does it mean to be a Canadian resident, protected person, or all that eligibility? So they're going to ask you a few questions. First, if you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and you have a RAMQ, that is the health insurance card from Quebec, this means that you're a Quebec resident. So you can apply with these things. That's it. If you're a Canadian or permanent resident and a Quebec resident showing your RAMQ, you are eligible for this opportunity. If you are not, don't worry, you can still apply. So let's assume you're an international student, but you have the proof of admission to the program, then they will allow you to apply, just presenting the first letter, the first page of your admission letter, and that's it. The only thing that they will require is for you to do your research program in Quebec. If you haven't applied to the program yet, because you're planning maybe to start fall 2026, and you haven't applied to the program, you're going to be applying in the winter. So you can still apply, but you need to provide a supervisor's form. So basically, you need to talk to professors at Concordia or the university that you want to apply to and convince them that you're a great student and convince them that they are going to be your supervisor. So once you have that, they can write a letter that is on the application form, and they will have to say, yes, this student will apply and this student will be my mentee. So a recap, you can apply to FRQ with a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and the RAMQ, or with a letter of admission to the program or to the supervisor's form. You do not have to put the three of them, just choose one, okay? The eligibility periods, as I say, masters no more than 3 full-time terms as of May 1st. What does it mean? If you started the program, your master's program before May 1st, 2025, then you are not eligible, okay? And you did all full-time terms, you are not eligible. You can apply before starting the program, but you should start your program between May 2026 and January 2027, okay? There might be different cases. Maybe you started in May and then you took a leave of absence of 2 months. Or they might be different cases, but so if there is something specific on you, just talk to me. For the doctorals, we say 14 semesters before May 2026. So if you started the program before fall 2021 and you did all your semesters as a full-time or you didn't take any leave of absence, then you are not eligible. You can apply before starting the program, but you have to start your program between May 2026 and January 2027, okay? Another thing to say about this, the doctoral, for example, 14 semesters, you can apply in your 4 year. It doesn't mean that the FRQ is going to give you 4 years of funding. They are just going to give you 1 extra year because the FRQ will take into consideration, okay, a master's is done in 2 years, a PhD is 5 years. If you are passing those 5 years, the FRQ is saying like, no, the student already went through the timeline, so we're not going to fund them. Okay, these are the deadlines, so screen capture on this. FRQ, you apply through the FRQNet portal, the agency. I have videos on my YouTube list about how to create an FRQ account. The deadline is October 1st. CIHR and CERC, our CERC Masters is December 1st, and that's the only one that is not open yet. For CIHR and NCERC doctoral is September 29, and you can already start working on this, and CERC is doctoral September 22nd. Again, none of the applications, you have to submit anything to Concordia directly. You don't have to send me an email. You don't have, everything is through the portal. And if you go to my website, you will see videos of how to create applications and how to actually apply for all these fundings. I'm just going to mention the last one of FRQ that is called the PBEEE, and I'm mentioning the last one because the deadline was yesterday. So I'm just mentioning this for next year. You guys, this is open only to international students. So if you already applied to the permanent resident, it doesn't allow you to apply here. This one, there is a pre-selection process at Concordia, and it's by the department level. We do not require the departments to give us all the applications that they receive because we have a lot of international students. So we also have the pre-selection process that I mentioned. We also have this internal committee reviewing, but this happens once the faculties, once the departments send us the applications. So the first filter is through the department. If you haven't passed that filter through the department, then I would recommend you to sit with your graduate program director and ask for feedback and ask why you haven't been selected, okay? They should be able to provide you the reasons. Yeah, so that's the only thing that I will say, and I hope, I don't know if Kotiva is still in the room, but I hope that was clear. Any questions about this? Because the next section, I'm just gonna talk about smaller awards and yeah, about private funding opportunities.
There are a couple of questions in the chat just about eligibility, I think for masters specifically.
I can read them. So my class will start in January 2026. Am I eligible for FRQ award? If you have the letter of admission, yes. And if you don't have the letter of admission, you can still apply with the letter of your supervisor. But if you already know that your class will start in January 2026, it's because you have the letter of admission. So yes, you can apply. Similar question. I am starting my master's in September. Is it too late already to apply for awards? No, all the awards that I'm mentioning, you can apply before starting the program, okay? The only that you cannot, if you're an international student and you are not enrolled in the program yet, you cannot apply to tri-agency doctoral. All the other ones, FRQ and the master's program, you can apply before starting the program, okay? Again, my class will start in September 2025. Am I eligible in FRQ? Yes, you can apply to the FRQ. Let's assume that you're international, you can apply with the letter of admission that you already have, okay? As a direct entry PhD student, should I also apply for master's FRQ like tri-agency that you will start in fall 2025? Absolutely, yes. As a direct entry PhD student, I will recommend you to apply to the master's FRQ and tri-agency if you're eligible. And then next year, I will see you again and you will be applying to PhD funding. So that way you will have, let's assume you get all the money. So you will have 1 year of master funding and 3 or 4 years of PhD funding. So I have a question of all mixed things. So it says about this scholarship, FRQ is based on the supervisor recommendation, right? No. For FRQ, if you don't have the letter of admission, you will have to apply with this supervisor's form. That's the eligibility criteria. Then the application per se of all these funding opportunities is you will have to write a research proposal of 1 or 2 pages, depending on the scholarship. You will have to write personal statements. You will have to provide your transcripts. Some of them you will have to provide reference letters. Some of them you will have to provide some sort of CV. So it's a whole process. So it takes time. So if you are eligible to all these funding opportunities and you want to apply, today is a very good day to start getting your application ready. Next week, I will mention this in the A, but next week I have 2 workshops, one that is specific for natural sciences and health, and the other one that is specific for social sciences and humanities and arts, that will talk about all the things that you need to do to apply for these things. And a follow-up question is, I saw in the PowerPoint that the scholarships includes the tuition. Is that right? Well, no. The PBEEE, the one that FRQ, I can go maybe. This is the one that you saw. Tuition remission. This only award that is specific for international students. They provide with a health insurance card from Quebec and includes tuition remission. So you will be paying Quebec tuition fee, but this is only award. The other ones, they will not give you health insurance and they will have no implications in your tuition. I will share the website link. Once we share the PowerPoint, you will see the website link with all the information about how to apply for this FRQ. Kotaiba is asking, are there quotas for PBE scholarship? There are quotas. So we are allowing only the departments to send, I think it's 1 or 2 applicants, and then we can only send 16 applicants to the FRQ, external application. I haven't missed that. I don't. Hadi, which was your question before? Okay, so as a direct entry PhD student, international student, you are not going to be able to apply to this tri-agency masters. And as a direct entry PhD student, you may not have a lot of opportunities for the tri-agency doctoral. So maybe this year you can only focus on the FRQ masters. You can try if you want the tri-agency doctoral. There's no harm, but yeah, only as an international student you can apply to the FRQ Masters. Another question, can I apply for every scholarship, like FRQ-NT, FRQ-SC, and FRQ-S? No, as I say, you have to choose inside FRQ, you have to choose one, NT, S, or FRQ-SC. Inside tri-agency, you have to choose one, SHRC, NSERC, or CIHR. Can you apply to tri-agencies and FRQ the same year? Yes, you can, and you should, if you are eligible, apply to both agencies, FRQ and tri-agency. But inside, like FRQ, only choose one. If you are in nature and technology, you can only apply to FRQ-NT. You shouldn't be applying and don't apply to FRQ-S or FRQ-SC. I hope that was clear. And this is a question that I will also answer. So our application requires that we have a clear research proposal even before we begin the program. Yes, it sounds very, very confusing and annoying, but yes. Even before you, for a master's, for example, even before you apply to the university. So I understand they can be very overwhelming, but don't worry, I'm here to help. So if you don't have a clear path, where is your research proposal going? I can still help you with that. My advice, if you're a master's student, you're gonna start the program probably next year. You have to write the research proposal. You can start connecting with professors that can help you, to create a good research proposal. It doesn't mean that the research proposal that as a master's student, it doesn't mean that the research proposal that you are proposing is the one that you're going to be doing. What they're going to be assessing is clarity, critical thinking, feasibility, and that's it. Okay. So don't feel so overwhelmed. Or send me an email and we can work together on your research proposal. And then I have another question from the GPA. So usually if you're coming from a different university, this is the last question that I'm going to answer at this, and then we can move on the other ones. So if you're concerned about your GPA, or if your GPA is an A- or a B+, in your official transcripts, you probably have like an equivalent table. And it will tell you, okay, if you have a 3.55 in this university, it means an A. So just check in your official transcript. If not, send me an email, send me your official transcripts, and we can work on that. Okay, so I will just mention here smaller awards, or not so smaller, but something that you might want to know when you are considering grad studies. First is some internal School of Graduates awards that I'm going to mention because they are also linked with external awards, the Concordia Conference and Exposition Awards. So if you are going to a conference, you can get money from Concordia to go to that conference. So there are different values. The application is very, very, very easy. You just have to click here and fill the form. You have to apply for this before the conference start date. And once the conference finishes, you do have to present the confirmation that you participated in the conference. Okay, so international conference is $1,000, the national $750, and for a conference in Montreal is up to $500 because they will cover your registration. As I say, these fellowships and scholarships that I've been talking, they will pay attention to your CV. So one way for you to increase your CV is to have conferences. Start looking for any conference that you can go, apply for this award, and go and present. Poster presentation, oral presentations are accepted on this one. Another award that I will mention is what we call the Standout Graduate Research Award that is open right now, and it has a deadline of August 26th. So if you have a publication that it can be a book, it can be a scientific publication, it can be a chapter, whatever publication that you have done in the last 13 months, you can apply to the Standard Graduate Research Award. This award is connected to the Releve 12 that is also from FRQ. You have the link here. So basically, you will submit your publication. You will be submitting a letter explaining a bit your research, and then Releve 12 will choose in the next year one person per month to provide, I think it's $1,000. Okay, so from all these awards, we are receiving all this application from the standard. You do have to submit. I didn't put it, I will put the link of how to submit on that one, and we will choose the top application, and we will provide $1,000. Okay, another pretty cool, I really like this award, is the Science Capture, is the counterpart of the NSERC Science Expose. So basically, it's an art contest for someone that is not in the arts. So if you're in natural sciences, engineers, social sciences, and whatever, and you like to take pictures, so we have 4 awards. There is $250. The deadline is going to be in the winter. This is for postdocs, masters, and PhD. And this year we have 2 finalists on the NSERC Science Expose competition that I think they were also winners in the internal SGS. So I have the link here. Just vote for them if you have the time. They're pretty cool research. So they have to explain the research and they have to come up with a creative image about the research. So those are very small but cool. I also want to talk about MyTax. Caroline already talked about MyTax Accelerate. No, MyTax Internship. This is the Accelerate program. So this is for graduate students. So you have to be already in the graduate program. And this will allow you to do an internship that tend to be 4 to 6 months. The price is a bit higher than what Caroline was mentioning. Minimum is 15,000. So how it works basically is like you and your supervisor connect with someone in the industry, you develop a research project together, you submit a proposal, and then MyTax accepts or not, and they will provide funding for your research. There is a database where already MyTax is collecting current projects that you can participate if you want. So you have it here in this link. These are the 2 people, if you're interested in this, to do this kind of internships, you should contact them. So this is open to masters and PhD students. Another one that I'm going to mention is the Arbor Foundation Scholarship. The deadline is in mid-May, so it's already passed, but it's a good idea to consider for next year. This is open to Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and also international students that are enrolled in a master's or a PhD degree of any of these fields. So for engineering, they will also allow masters in engineering, that is a course-based program, computer science and business administration, and they will also allow MBAs, that is also a course-based program. This is for 1 year. For the doctorals, is renewable. You will have to apply again. And we offer a lot of support. Like we have 8 students going to the interview process this year, and we offer coaching and everything that we can for you guys to success on this. This is based in financial needs. You won't have to write the research proposal about this, but you do have to explain your background, your story, and your financial needs. I think this is the last one. No, I have 2 more. The Trudeau Foundation. So Trudeau Foundation is for whole Canada. It's for 1st or 2nd year PhD students. And the amount is up to $40,000 per year for 3 years. They will only ask you to be a Canadian citizen studying at a Canadian or foreign institution, or an international student enrolled in a Canadian institution. Okay, so if you are international and you are here, you can apply. The application deadline is in December. They will open this year application in September 9. This is highly competitive, but last year we received 2 awards out of 16 in whole Canada from Concordia, which was great. If you are interested in applying for this one, I can also help. There's a whole application process, and I'm not going to go into details. Probably I will do another info session in the future. And the last one, this is the last one, I think, I promise, is the Mackenzie King Memorial Scholarship. I'm going to mention this one. It's extremely competitive. Their deadline is in February 1st, so you have to think about this for the next year. The only thing that I would ask you is for you to hold a Canadian degree. So if you're an international student doing your PhD, but your master's you did it here in Canada, it's fine. You can apply because you hold a Canadian degree. If you're an international student that you're just starting, then this is not for you. Okay, the amount really depends. I think last year was 18,000. It really depends on the foundation budget, and they do have a traveling scholarship, but it's very, very specific. It's students that are doing law, history, politics, and economics, and they want to do a research in the US or UK. Okay. Yes. Any question about these ones, or we're still focusing in FRQ and tri-agency? Okay. I know there are some questions that they were asking me about the links. All the information that I share here is in our external funding website. Here you have the link. I will put it in the chat in a second. If you come here on the bottom right, you can access, this is my website, our website. We have all the resources for you to apply. You can book a meeting with Catherine if you're wondering about the application process. Maybe Marisa, you can also talk to Catherine about your case. Once you decide, okay, yes, I will apply for this one, but I have no idea how to write a research proposal, just come and talk to me. We can have a booking, like a one-on-one meeting to brainstorm. Then we can have another meeting that I can review your draft. I can provide advice. I can provide templates from past awardees. Everything that I can do to help you guys, I'm here for it. There are more resources. You will see a list of the open competitions. This is outdated, but we have it now. And you will see videos. Here you have creating an FRQ application, developing a master's application. You have the Arbor Foundation info session. You have a lot of videos. If you want to hear me for a whole day, you can do it. I do not recommend it, but you can do it if you want. And there's a lot of also frequently asked questions here. If there's something that is being mentioned, just come see. If there's something that is not there, just send me an email and I will try to reply. I'm doing a lot of workshops through GradPro Skills. As I say, next week, I have this one that is specific for people working in natural sciences and health. And August 7 is the one for social sciences, humanities, and arts. We're going to talk about how to write the research proposal, what are the requirements of all these FRQ and tri-agencies awards, how to get the transcripts, how to get the reference letters, how to write the personal statements. Honestly, I try to cover most of the things that I can. And also I do a peer review session before the deadlines where you can have access to someone else's application. You can read it and provide feedback, and someone can read your application and provide feedback as well. This is something that an exercise that I think is extremely important if you want to do it through us with GradPro Skills. If not, do it on your own and ask for people around you to help you in this application process. This is the graduate awards team. So here is Catherine's email in case you have any specific question. And this is my email. You're more than free to contact me as much as you can or you want. And if I don't reply your email in a couple of days, just send me another one. Like sometimes they get buried, but it's not that I'm avoiding you. It's just, yeah, sometimes I'm okay. I have a question. There is one Concordia Entrance Award for international students. I will not comment on that because that's internal and that's not my expertise. So whatever I can tell you probably will be wrong. So send me an email and I can try to connect you to the person that can actually answer that question. Another question, how many international students will be recommended for an NSERC doctoral award this year from Concordia? That's an excellent question that we do not know. So we have 18 quotas for NSERC. We don't know how many international students we're going to receive. So that's something that I cannot answer. And this is something that I do understand that there's a question that you may have, but the only thing that you have to focus right now is to create the best possible application because you don't know who you are competing. And maybe, and it happens, Concordia sends you to the external competition and then you don't get the award. So the best thing that you can do, my advice is like when you submit, when you click that submit button, you feel confident and you feel at ease with your research proposal and application. That's what you need to achieve without worrying what's going to happen. Thank you, Altia, to share the feedback. Please, if you have 2 minutes, just complete the feedback because GradProSkill, I know that they use it to improve these workshops. I read the feedback to see if I'm talking too fast or if I need to provide more information. I honestly read them at the end of the year, so please complete it. And then another question that, yes, I already answered, but all the scholarships are personal. If I get the scholarship, it's totally given to me, right? Yes. If I say that the scholarship is 20,000 for 2 years, that's the money that you will get. Usually they do installments, so it's not that you're gonna get all the money once on time. Like usually it's like one payment per semester or something like that. But that's money that for you, whatever you want to do with that money, go for it. Any other questions? Someone that wants to discuss something that I'm missing? I hope the workshop helped. I hope that you got some sort of information out of this. If it's too confusing or you're still like not sure where to apply or what to do, just send me an email. We can have a one-on-one meeting, a quick conversation with me or with Catherine, and we can really try to help you guys. Okay, sounds good. We're good.
Yes. Thanks everybody for being here, and thank you, Cecilia.
I think, I don't know if Caroline, she already left, but I also want to thank, yes, Caroline, she's always a great support when it comes to funding for international internships and all that. Okay, so have a good day, everyone. And I hope to see you guys next week.
Take care.